Mr. O'Reilly, may I extend a very hearty welcome to you and the Discovery team to Kilkenny.
Thank you very much, Mr. Mayor. On behalf of the Discovery team and myself, we've come to Kilkenny for one particular and specific reason. Kilkenny has always been famous in art and culture throughout Ireland. We want to discover how it stands today.
I feel you couldn't have come to a better place than Kilkenny for the purpose you're about.
Peter Farrelly is Kilkenny's town clerk. Well, Peter, are these the oldest documents and books you have, are they?
Well, these are some of them. We have thousands of very ancient documents here, going back to 1231. That was our Liber Primus. It's really the proceedings of the corporation, or the minute book of the corporation.
Yes.
From 1231 to 1538.
Yes.
We have.
It's very historic.
It's a very historical one.
500 years old.
It is. One of the most interesting ones we have is this document here. It's very interesting in the fact that, first of all, it's dated 1244. You will remember that when the Dominicans, the very, very old friar preachers who came to Kilkenny, and in 1244 they found they had no water in their monastery. So they asked the then Bishop of St. Canices for permission to get some water, and he gave them permission to take water from the well of St. Canice, provided the conduct of the pipe wasn't any bigger than his episcopal ring, of which a facsimile is shown on the document.
I see, yes.
And
very interesting. What else have you there?
Well, perhaps the most interesting one is the Charter of James I, which created Kilkenny as city. This was done in 1609.
Yes.
And we have held city status ever since.
Yes, yes.
It's beautifully done, as you see.
Yes.
We have lots of charters here. It's rather big and awkward. But
and these are the old wax
these are the
seals,
old,
are they?
the old wax seals. Yes.
Yes.
They're a bit dilapidated and that, but through age.
And when did you get this sword?
Oh, that sword we got in 1609 also. It came with the charter from James.
I see. Well, that's 350-year-old.
There is another very interesting document here, Mr. O'Reilly. You'll remember after the Battle of the Boyne, when King William in 1690, immediately after the battle, came on his way to Waterford. He camped at Bennett's Bridge, which is about 5 or 6 miles from Kilkenny City. And William, as you know, was a Protestant. James, being a Catholic, had sacked the mayor and aldermen and officials of the corporation who were at that time were all Protestants. And he appointed Catholic mayor and aldermen. When William was passing through, or rather when he was camping in Bennett's Bridge, the Protestant alderman and the mayor of the time, who had lost his post, petitioned William to give them all back their posts, which he duly did by a royal letter, which the original letter is actually here, and you can see on it that it's given at our royal camp at Bennett's Bridge on this 19th day of July 1690, in the second year of our reign.
Well, Peter, as town clerk of Kilkenny, you have a great responsibility for keeping these records. Is it proposed to put them into a museum instead of locking them up here now?
Well, I know it is really a shame to have them locked up. They're so beautiful and so wonderful. And I'm hoping very shortly to have them on display in the council chamber.
Yes. This collection compares with Dublin.
Well, actually, we have the biggest collection in Ireland outside of Dublin.
Rich silver gilt in St. Canice's Cathedral is further evidence of the city's cultural past, but less peaceful times are recorded. This bishop chased the witch Alice Kittler from the town. And this one of the Roth family fell foul of the Cromwellians, who edited his epitaph. St. Canice's holds the finest collection of 16th century sepulchral monuments in the whole of Ireland. In these grounds, the footsteps of history tramped and left their mark. 1,000 years of building and destroying from round towers to the scars of Cromwell, from tombs in granite to floors in the marble of 4 provinces. Nearby, the Black Abbey was built for the Dominicans by William Le Marechal in 1225. In spite of many changes in state and churches, it remains Dominican today. Its museum is another storehouse of antiquities and rare books. St. Mary's graveyard lies plumb in the center of the town, leaning up against the Tholsel, where the affairs of the city are now conducted. Cromwell had reason to storm this city, for wasn't it the seat of the government of the Confederacy, and this old courthouse is where its parliament met. The cathedral at one end, the castle at the other, twin props of the Norman civilization. The castle is on the site of one built by Strongbow within 3 years of his invasion. The permanent structure of the present castle probably dates from the early 12th century, and it was improved and extended many times since. Some of it is quite modern, including the picture gallery. It was here I chatted with John Kerry Keane. Well, John Kerry Keane, as editor of the Kilkenny People, you must be delighted that this old castle is being restored.
Yes, we are. The castle is an important Kilkenny landmark, and it has played a very significant part in Irish history.
Especially at the time of the Confederates.
Yes.
Yes. People in Kilkenny tell me that they would like to see Kilkenny become the Florence of Ireland.
Well, I think there's a point there, certainly. Kilkenny has very much the tradition of the Italian city-states, and indeed in the 17th century we minted our own coinage, passed our own laws, and received ambassadors from many lands.
I'm finding, in Kilkenny that in many areas there's a connection between the past and the present, as if Kilkenny were going through a second renaissance.
Yes, I would agree with you, particularly with regard to the establishment just across from the castle of the Kilkenny Industrial Design Centre. This has been established in what were formerly the stables of Kilkenny Castle, and they're doing there today what in a way was always done in Kilkenny in the past. In the past, the tradition was that new ideas were created here in the crafts, in the sphere of crafts and the arts. And today, in the industrial sphere, new ideas are being created here again, and they give Kilkenny a certain leadership on the national level.
Yes. Well, in another way, too, there's a link between the past and the present in Kilkenny, and that's in the field of social services.
Yes, the Kilkenny Social Services is a very well-organised and effective body, and a great deal of work is done to help the old and needy in the city. The tradition, again, the tradition is very strong too, because in Rose Inn Street in Kilkenny there is a very fine medieval building, the Shee Almshouse, and this is the what is left of, from the traditional point of view, of social services in the past.
The Shee Almshouse, that was founded probably by the famous Kilkenny family of Shee.
Yes, they were a very fine family, and possibly one of their most noted members was Father Archer Shee, the Jesuit priest, who did a great deal to help the education of Irish priests on the continent. In fact, he was one of the co-founders of the University of Salamanca.
You can't keep the Kilkenny people down?
I hope not.